Hello guys and welcome back yet again. So today we're going to be talking about a PvP tier list. I'm going to try and rank out all the classes according to how I think they rank. Now there is some interesting things to talk about when it comes to PvP just because of how PvP works in the game, and also keep in mind we do have 4 modes of PvP in the game. You have your 1v1, you have your 3v3, you have Mine Wars, and you have Ancient Battlefield. Now these 4 modes can vary vastly on some classes, but I didn't want to make multiple tier lists, so it's only going to be one tier list. I'm going to try and average it out. However, I'm going to mention if there is an outlier in the classes. For example, if a class is super good in 1v1 but really bad in Ancient Battlefield, I will try and mention that. But when I'm rating it, I am going to give it like an average, but I will mention if it shines in a particular area. Okay, with that being said, I am gonna make a lot of people mad with this tier list for sure, because PvP is not like PvE. So in my PvE tier list, funny enough, a lot of you actually kind of agreed with me. The only one that we might have to change when it comes to the PvE one is the Magiblade will go to the SS tier for PvE, because I have been made aware that there's a new build which you don't really have to do all the blinding silhouettes and stuff. So if you actually don't have to use that skill and use that mechanic, it makes that class S tier. So that is the only change on the PvE tier list. But for PvP, yeah, I hope you guys are ready to fight me in the comment section. So let's start. I'm gonna go straight into our fighters. Our favorite guy, the Berserker. Now, when it comes to Berserker in PvP, he is actually super good. The reason for this is he's just a brute guy. In PvP, the main thing is your access to super armors will kind of determine how crazier you can play the class, right? So Berserker does have a lot of super armor, and you can be trading a lot of super armor stuff with that. However, he does lack a little bit when it comes to the damage department. So even though he's like super crazy in terms of super armor and trading and stuff, his damage isn't that high as some other classes, so I can't really give him S tier at all. I probably give him A tier, and the reason why I'm gonna keep him at A tier is because when it goes to Ancient Battlefield and Mine Wars, he does extremely well there, especially because of his immortality passive. So for something like Ancient Battlefield, I know you guys who have played PvP have come across these Berserkers who they only go for the towers and they only go for your crystal, and even if you kill them, they do have like this amount of time where they actually can't die, and all they do is they try and do damage on your crystal. So it's really annoying, but it actually kind of works. It's actually a very good strategy and it actually works really well. So yeah, that is that. I'm gonna keep him at A tier just because of how good he can be in Ancient Battlefield and in Mine Wars. And then for the next, I call them fighters. These are swordsmen. The next swordsman is a Magiblade. Magiblade was the assassin before we got our real assassin. He was like an assassin, and he's super fast. This class is super fast. The attack speed helps him quite a lot in PvP. He gap closes extremely fast. So this class, I don't even have to say so much about this class. He has the CC, he has the super armor, he has the armor breaks actually as well, really good armor breaks, and he's super fast. So this class is an S tier for me. This class is just really crazy, both in 1v1s and in team play. So Ancient Battlefield, Mine Wars, he does really good in all modes. So this is an S tier class for me when it comes to PvP. Yeah, I don't even have to say so much about this class. It is just really good when it comes to PvE, to PvP. Let's go to the next category, and that is the fighters now. Let's go with the Cloudstrider. Cloudstrider was a complete S in PvE, but for PvP, I will demote her a little bit. I'm gonna demote her to maybe B. Now, one thing about this class is, even though he does really well in PvP, the combos that you can learn in PvE are not the same that you can do in PvP. He's like a one-trick wonder kind of a class in PvP, but she does do quite a lot of damage. She does do quite a lot of damage. For 1v1s, I would drop her a little lower. Gonna be a little lower. However, when we talk about things like Ancient Battlefield, I will be jumping her to S just because of how much damage this class outputs, and you want to keep in mind that in Asian Battlefield and in Mine Wars, it is just such a mess of a fight that classes like this, which has like this AoE skills, which do a massive amount of damage, will do super well. You're gonna notice so many triple kills and double kills and quadra kills when you're playing the Cloudstrider, because you have big AoEs that do so much damage. So, but for 1v1s, I'm gonna drop her to A. I'm actually inclined to drop her to B for 1v1s, but just because of how good she is in Mine Wars and Asian Battlefield, I feel I should give her an S just because of how much damage she will do. But if we were gonna average it out, let's keep her at high A. Let's keep her at high A just because of how 1v1 is a little bit more not that good on the Cloudstrider. But she's super good. A lot of damage, but I'm gonna keep her at A. I'm not kidding. I'm not gonna put her at S. I know a lot of people want me to put her at S, but no. S is for only Asian Battlefield and Mine Wars. But for the remaining ones, A or even B, actually, you would actually make an argument for B. And let's look at her sister, the Starbreaker. Now, Starbreaker is I fucking hate this class. So, okay, let me tell you, I'm gonna rate Starbreaker. Starbreaker is an S class. Starbreaker has no weakness when it comes to PvP. For those who don't play PvP, you need super armor, right? And Starbreaker has super armor on basically all her skills, and then she does a lot of damage. It's so easy to play the class in such a point where you just want to jump in people's faces, and then you want to trade damage for damage, and her damage will always be higher. So it makes this very degenerate gameplay where you're just like, you don't even care so much about strategy. You're just going in and trying to do as much damage as possible before you die. You're just trading the super armor. So it's basically like a Berserker, but with way more damage. That's how Starbreaker is. A lot of people have been complaining about Starbreaker. People thought it's gonna be nerfed, and then it was buffed. So it's even more crazy right now than it is. When it comes to Asian Battlefield and Mine Wars, it also does a lot of damage. The combos are insane. The combos are super fast. It can really catch people in the air pretty easily as well. Yeah, it's kind of a really annoying class to deal with, and it does a lot of damage. So this class is actually kind of insane. It actually is in front of, I'll put it in front of Magiblade. So yeah, that class is kind of crazy. And then let's go to the Musketeers, and the first one will be our Bounty Hunter over here. So Bounty Hunter has one major weakness on her. So Bounty Hunter doesn't really have super armors, and I've already explained why super armors are super important. She doesn't have super armors in her kit, and then most of her catches, and if you're trying to engage, will be melee catches. So there's also that it doesn't really work together as well. However, she does have good damage. She actually has really good damage. So if you manage to play her and if you manage to actually work with her, you need to be really good with her perfect dodges. If you can manage that, then the Bounty Hunter becomes like an A tier for you. It does really good combos, and well, the problem is when you get caught, you're gonna get caught. There's no way to like escape that, right? But now, when it goes to Asian Battlefield and Mine Wars, now you're gonna find out a lot of people like fighting in the air. So like airborne, they do like triple jumps and then do things in the air. Especially Elementalists are very notorious for that. Bounty Hunter is super good with catching airborne targets, so that will bump her up a little bit higher when it comes to Asian Battlefield and Mine Wars. However, just because of how easy it is to like CC her and stuff, I will drop her to the middle of the pack. I'm gonna say Bounty Hunter will be a little bit of a B tier for me. It's more of a skill gap issue. Bounty Hunter, you really have to be really a good player in general to be able to pilot Bounty Hunter, but the class itself isn't really that crazy when you're comparing to things like Berserker and stuff, right? So I'm inclined to not put it in A tier with Berserker. I'm gonna put it at B tier. And then for our next one will be Mystix. So Mystix is a really, really beautiful class. Mystix has everything you need in a class to PvP. She does like a little bit in the damage department. However, she has probably one of the best catches in the game. The motorbike is actually insane. If you can get a good catch with motorbike on the Mystix, it is super satisfying. 1v1, she does decent. I don't think she doesn't have very many weaknesses. She has nice range, she has really good mobility, and then she has like really good catches. She has decent super armors. I would put her an A tier at 1v1. She's actually a pretty good class to 1v1 with. It's actually not that bad. However, I will put him in S tier just because of how good she is in Asian Battlefield and also in Mine Wars. Just because of the bike skills, I am inclined to put her in S tier because of the bike skill. The bike is just super cool, and these catches are really good. So just because of that, I'm gonna put her in S tier. You can fight me in the comments. I like my Mystix in S tier when it comes to Mine Wars and Asian Battlefield. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at it's gonna be low S tier. Okay, I'm gonna put it at low S tier, and it's also a very easy class to pilot as well. So that kind of pumps her up a little bit higher when it comes to tier list. So I'm gonna leave it at S tier for now. I don't know if I'm gonna adjust it later on, but for now, let's leave it at S tier. And then for the last musketeer will be the gunner. The gunner, when it comes to 1v1, it's a no-brainer. In 1v1, she is an S tier just because of how much range she has and how much she can control the battlefield in 1v1. If you actually let her control the middle part of the arena, you can't really get close to her without actually maybe trading super armor for taking some damage. But yeah, a good gunner will not really let you close the range, and if you don't close the range, you're gonna get hurt. So you are forced to go to her, and you're gonna get punished for it if you don't play correctly. So she is a super oppressive class to fight. So if you don't have access to a lot of super armor, you're gonna have a really bad time fighting the gunner. Now, when it comes to Asian Battlefield and Mine Wars, she kind of works the same. However, we can drop her a little bit lower when it comes to Mine Wars and Asian Battlefield. And the only reason for that is because she does have a little bit of lower damage than other classes. So the damage department is the only thing she's missing. So if it comes to Asian Battlefield and Mine Wars, we can lower her down to A or even B, but mainly A, like lower A, like around here, because her damage is not really that good. But she's super good in 1v1 that I can't really take her down from S, because just of how good she is and how oppressive she is in the 1v1s. So yeah, that's it for the gunner. And then next we are gonna go to the Magisters. So the Magisters, the first one is going to be the Elementalist. Elementalist is one of the craziest classes to play in PvP. He has a lot of range and he has a lot of damage. Now, crazy Elementalist will never really let you get in range, and they will just pummel you and spam things on you, and he actually does a lot of damage. So this class is like super good, super good. And then when it comes to Asian Battlefield and Mine Wars, these are the classes you find them in the air, like they do triple jump and then they do range skills in the air, and they're just killing people in the air, in the ground, and you have to like try and catch him in the air with a triple jump as well. Otherwise, you're just gonna take damage from him a lot. So they are countered by bounty hunters or gunners. Like gunners counter these guys in Mine Wars or Asian Battlefield. But there's just so much going on that people don't pay attention to Elementalists in the air, and they just get a lot of kills like that. So especially if they're well geared up. So Elementalist for me, I'm gonna put it in S because in 1v1 he's pretty good, and then in Asian Battlefield and Mine Wars he's even better. So I'm gonna put it in S tier for that. I'm actually gonna raise it a little bit higher, just because he's good in all three game modes. It's pretty good class. And then for the next Magister, we have the Warlock. Okay, now Warlock has I'm trying to find a good thing to say about Warlock in PvP. Warlock looks cool in PvP. He looks cool. He has Warlock has nothing, guys. Warlock is D tier. Warlock has nothing good for him in PvP. Like, some of your hardest hitting skills are placed skills, right? Your Siege and Illusion is a placed skill. People will just move away from it. Your combos are, You don't really have a good catch. You actually need to wait people to come to you. You're not really an engager. You kind of want people to come to you. So, I don't know. Your cooldowns are so long. So, if you do a full combo on someone, you have to wait for around 50 seconds to do the combo again. The only time you're having fun with Warlock is when you're doing Asian Battlefield or Mine Wars. And this is actually how you have fun with a Warlock, right? You go into Asian Battlefield, you find a team fight happening, you do 2 skills, you stack like 5 stacks of resentful casts on players around you, but you don't detonate. No. You wait for them to be like really low HP, and then that's when you detonate it, because that's how you're gonna steal kills. And the moment you detonate, like, you have no other skills to use. Everything is on cooldown. You go and wait in a corner until they come off cooldown, and then you come and try and steal kills again. That is the only fun part about Warlock when it comes to PvP. This class was not made for PvP at all. So some people have made it work. It's in the same boat with Bounty Hunter, but Bounty Hunter is just so much more superior. But some people have made it work. To be honest, it is just not really built for PvP. It's not that good of a class, but you can make it work if you like the class. I am a Warlock main, and I'm gonna say it is garbage tier. It is D tier. I'm gonna leave it at D. Unfortunately, that's where I'm gonna rate my beautiful Warlock. And then let's go to the last Magister, and that is the Magician. Magician was a class made for PvP. His kit is actually kind of PvP based. So he is a magician. He is full of tricks. In 1v1, he does really good, but you really need to be able to play the class because it actually is a hard class to play, Magician. But if you can pilot it in 1v1, I am going to put it in A tier, not S, as people think for 1v1. The reason I'm not going to put it in S tier is because in 1v1, it's very easy to know whether he is like, it's the clone you're fighting or the real one. It's actually not that hard. In lower levels, in like bronze and stuff, yeah, you can like trick so many people with it. But in higher levels, they easily know that that's the clone and they're just not gonna ignore it. So there is that thing. However, when we go to Asian Battlefield and Mine Wars, there is just so much going on. No one is gonna bother to look whether it is your clone or not. They are gonna go ham on the clone, and you're gonna be just running around the battlefield all invisible and getting your combos off and doing really good damage. And doing like crazy debuffs and CCs in the game. So yeah, it is a really good class for Asian Battlefields and Mine Wars. So just because of that, I am gonna bump him up to S tier, just because he is really made for PvP. His entire kit is kind of made for PvP. It's just as he's a little bit harder to pilot, that's why I'm gonna put him a little bit lower S, not that higher S, but he does really good damage. And he's very good in PvP overall, generally. If you're a good player, this class is just really good for you. It's just that it's hard to play. That's the only reason it's not going to be like in SS plus tier, right? And then let's go to the second last group, and that's the Puppeteers. And we're going to start with the Blade Maiden. So for Blade Maiden, I believe Blade Maiden is kind of average, right? She doesn't do anything super well, and she doesn't suck at anything. Like she just exists. She has good damage, she has good CC, but the damage is not that good. Okay, so she's a little bit harder to play as well. But if you can land the combos, then she does insane damage. If you miss the combos, then you do no damage. She's like in the middle of the pack. I can't put her at B though, because I do believe she's a little bit stronger than that. So I'm gonna put Blade Maiden in A tier. I believe she's really good when it comes to just being average. Like she does everything. She's a jack of all trades, but she doesn't excel at anything when it comes to PvP. She's good in like all modes, and she's decent enough. So I'm gonna put her in A tier. I have nothing to complain so much about her. Maybe her damage should be increased a little bit, but that's about it. Just because of how hard it is to actually learn some of these skills. But it is doable. If you can put some time into her, should do really good in PvP. And then the next one, we have the Scytheguard. Now the Scytheguard, you do have two builds when it comes to PvP. You have your supportive one and your DPS one. You really don't want to play the supportive one in PvP because you kind of lose a lot of damage, right? You lose a lot of damage. However, the supportive nature of the class just kind of really increases the ranking, and this class does a lot of damage and it kind of defends itself super good. It really super good. Has really nice CC skills and some crazy whirlwind skills. The one that like spins the sky thing and she just like walks around the arena, and it's a full like super armor thing, and it's kind of annoying to deal with. So this class is super good. It's a like overall S tier class. Her damage is a little bit on the lower end when it comes to these S tier classes, but just because of other things she brings to the table, she is an S tier class. I'm kind of feeling like I should add an extra S tier up here actually, if I'm not wrong. Wait, we'll add it in a little bit. So for the last two, let's talk about the assassins, and that is the Specter and the Mirage. Let's start with the Mirage. So the Mirage is like a Warlock, but with a little bit less disadvantages of the Warlock. His biggest problem is cooldowns, because unlike PvE, you cannot really leverage some stats and some pets and stuff. So his cooldowns will make him a little bit clunkier to play, especially in group fights and stuff. In group fights, he does really well in Asian Battlefield and in Mine Wars, but I wouldn't put him super high. I haven't really had a problem with a lot of Mirages in Asian, but I enjoy Asian Battlefield, funny enough, because I like stealing kills with my Demon Mark. But yeah, I would put Mirage on low A tier. Actually, no. I'm gonna put Mirage in high B tier, not really A tier. Because I feel like Mirage, for an assassin, he doesn't really play at all like an assassin. I mean, he is okay. The good thing is his range. He has like really ranged, nice range skills. And his attack speed is super fast as well when well built. So that he has that going for him. He has decent super armors and stuff. But you know what? I'm going to put him at B tier because he doesn't perform that well to put him a little bit higher than that. Maybe someone who has played Mirage way more than me in PvP will maybe correct me on that, but I do believe he's a little bit of a B tier class, right? I feel like he was also kind of nerfed a little bit in PvP, so he doesn't do that well. It's more of a basic attack kind of a class when it comes to PvP. That's all. Maybe someone will shed a little bit of light when it comes to Mirage if he deserves to go a little bit higher. But for now, I'm going to leave it at B tier. And then we have Specter. Now, Specter is my golden child. Specter is the one that I'm very torn between these two classes. And when it comes to PvP, I do have a Specter I've done some PvP with. I love Specter. In 1v1s, I would say he is an S tier class just because of how he works. He's actually made for PvP with the stealth and stuff. However, the stealth on Specter is not full stealth. You can actually see the transparent silhouette thing, so that I need people to know that. But it is just, you get so much movement speed and you're super fast. His catches are extremely fast. So if you play this class correctly, you are gonna do really well in 1v1. When it comes to Asian Battlefield and Mine Wars, yes, he's melee, but he's super fast and he's actually really fun to play. You can like really mess people up with the movement speed and stuff, because once you run away, they can't really catch you. Even if they want to, they can't actually catch you. So it's actually kind of fun. Even if you're weak, you can go in, get into a fight, let them get you low. You can like dash out using your resonance dash and stuff, and then just run away and then wait for your healing injections and stuff, and then come back and re-engage again. That's how you play the Spectre. It's actually a lot of fun. So with that, I'm going to put Spectre in S tier. I believe Spectre is such a good PvP class. And once you put your time into the class and you start learning the combos, how to get your moon scars and how to get your stacks, how to utilize your dashes from the Shadow Strike, it is actually a really good class when it comes to PvP. Now, when I'm looking at this tier list, I've noticed I do have a lot of people in S tier. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a new tier up here. I'm going to put it, let's put the green tier. Oops, sorry. This one should be red. This one will be our SS tier. we need to add some classes to the SS tier out of the S one, because I feel like there's too many classes in S. So I will bump Starbreaker up here, I will bump Magiblade, and I will bump Scytheguard, right? And we are gonna leave it at that. Simple as that. Now, are we gonna put Warlock in C tier? No, we're gonna put Warlock in D tier. In fact, I'm going to add a row below, and I'm gonna say RIP, and Warlock goes into that tier just because of because Warlock is into demonic stuff. It's even gonna go black. It doesn't even need to have a name. That's why I'm gonna put my Warlock. I am so sad. But yeah, that's I think that is how I would be able to rate my classes when it comes to PvP. I am kind of very satisfied with how I have it at the moment. I don't think there's anything I would bump up or down. Please tell me down in the comment section below if you do think I have been unfair on a particular class, except Warlock. Warlock is the one thing the entire community agrees on. He's not really made for PvP at all. He needs like some changes in his kit. But yeah, this is how I think we're gonna end our PvP tier list. So thanks guys for watching. If you have watched all the way to the end, like and subscribe to me. It actually really helped me out a lot as a creator. And I guess I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.